Oh, here we go. Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. It's a totally Randy morning, as we see we got from the Houston Forward
That's right.
Times.
Totally Randy Thursday. Hi,
Totally
Stacy.
Randy. There you go. Uh, this morning, R. Kelly may be looking at a life sentence this afternoon when he is sentenced in Chicago. We're going to discuss that. Also, we conclude Black History Month, but Toure, the acclaimed journalist who now writes for the Grio, wrote a column yesterday. I thought it was very interesting. He examined what a White History Month would look like. We're going to take a look at what Toure had in mind, and we'll discuss that too. But first, the city of Seattle is explicitly banning discrimination on the basis of caste, making it the first city in the U.S. to take such a step. So, uh, totally, Randy, we got a lot to talk about this morning. First, we'll start with Seattle. Um, so, this is the first city in the U.S. to take such a step to ban discrimination on the basis of the caste system. The city council out there approved an ordinance that amends the city's municipal code to include caste as a protected class alongside categories such as race, religion, and gender identity. Why is that important?
Are we really asking this question?
I
Why
say
is it
caste, and
important?
Greer says it's caste.
Right, it is caste. I was just about to say that. So the caste system is something. It's so crazy that Seattle is the first city in the U.S. to ban it because this is how much I did not know it was still in effect. But I'm not surprised because again, here in Texas, you know, there's so many things that are still like from slavery in our deeds. Like when you think about things like that, how laws and orders and things have not changed. They didn't look into that. It's insane. The caste system is absolutely asinine. I don't know who came up with it, but you know that movie Untouchables. The
Yep.
Untouchables don't mean that over in South Asia. Okay, the Untouchables are that you're so dark that you can't even touch those people. So the fact that Seattle is the first city in the U.S. to ban it, supremely asinine to me. I don't think that there should be much thought on banning that. If Seattle is the first, I think every city should look into like, hey, do we have that here? Let's ban it, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's. I mean, we're going through we're going through very deep valleys right now when it comes to our political system. Period, in the
Yeah.
world. But you know, it's just another one of those fights, right? But
Right.
thankfully, Seattle took the leadership in this. But where is
Well, it's like you said, it is interesting that Seattle is the first, as they said in the meeting yesterday. It's by, and I'm going to quote one of the council people, but it says, "But while simple, it is also profound and historic. Caseism is an insidious form of discrimination that typically operates within South Asian communities. The case system is a social hierarchy that divides people into rigid categories at birth." But, you know, um, the thing about it is when they highlight, and it's true, this says operates within South Asian communities, but you notice how fast, and I hate to just put it this way, but you notice how fast when, not that this was, happened so fast, but they are quick to make sure to take care of the evils done in other communities. I mean, this is about, Yeah, it's in our community, it's in other communities, but they highlight, South Asian communities, because they say that's where it typically operates. But
Yeah.
it just reminds me of when George Floyd was killed, and we kept talking about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, and then we had that Asian hate thing that went on, situation that went on, during the pandemic, and they were quick to do an Asian hate bill, and got that through Congress, got it through the Senate, got it on the president's desk. He signed it, and people say, "Well, it was just really nothing, no teeth in that bill," but they still got it done.
Right. Right.
It's,
And
so,
again, I hate to say this, a lot of people, I don't know about you, Stacey, but like I always tell some of my friends that I talk to, there is not a country I've been to that I have not experienced racism. I've traveled
mhm,
almost all over the world. I think I have three continents to hit before I travel. That's Antarctica, that's Australia, and Africa. But there's not a country I've been to where I have not experienced racism. So when you think about the caste system, the caste system, there is like, you know, a lot of people will not break it down to the stigma of racism, but it's
mhm,
all hidden under that. That
yeah,
discrimination comes from, like, if you it's just insane how so much hate is out in the world, and they justify it by saying, "Oh no, you were born into this section, or there is a hierarchy." It's not. It's just really rooted in hatred. And I think if we can pass those bills, like the Asian hate bill, which was wild, that I said it when the Asian hate bill was passed. I said, "Oh, the rest of us are staring at Congress and George Floyd bills."
right.
Uh, but again, the root of it is hatred, and I don't honestly, I don't think. What are we going to do to alleviate that?
Power 96 says, please don't get me started on that Stop Asian Hate. A lot of Asians are extremely racist toward Black people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was in China, we didn't want to pay. We were leaving the Forbidden City. One thing I absolutely love about China is the Forbidden City. My favorite movie when I was 5 was The Last Emperor. I know
Oh
that.
gosh, when you were 5.
I was 5, and it was The Last Emperor was my favorite movie. But I always said that I would set, and it's the only movie that's actually filmed. Part of it is filmed in the Forbidden City. I said I would always step foot in the Forbidden City. Didn't want to pay the extra money that the taxi wanted to take us back. And I said, "Oh, that's okay." He didn't drive anywhere. When I asked him how much it was, he told us. I was like, "That's absolutely insane. That's not how much we paid to get here." Nor, obviously, I did my research. So I said, "We're going to get out." When I got out, he followed my sister and my best friend and I down a street, and he was like behind me because I was the one that was talking about it. He was behind me, like just going at it, like just calling me all kind of racist names, and then all of a sudden he spits
Mm.
in my best friend's face.
Oh, that's where the gun come out. I'm sorry. Forget the knives. But
And I'm not gonna get into them treating us like
yeah.
we couldn't even really tour the Forbidden City because we were treated
Mm,
it to someone who doesn't know. You would feel like they're treating you like a celebrity because they want to take pictures with you. They want to roll their babies up and take pictures of their babies with you. But it's more so like it felt more like a display
yep.
almost, like
So
I wasn't a real human.
so 2 weeks ago, I was a couple of weeks ago, when the last time Greer can remind me, when I was in Washington, and on the Amtrak, and on the Acela first class, and and you get to pick your seats, but if it's crowded or whatever, sometimes when you pick, you notice that there's a table there, because they feed you on the Acela first class thing, right? You can eat, drink, or whatever. And so when there's one seat chosen, so that they have a table for 4, they have a table for 2, and that you sit across from each other. And the thing about it is that um, you look on the app, and you see that both those seats are open and other seats are open, but all the other seats are like at tables of 4, or they are at the aisle. I mean, not the aisle, but the window or whatever. I don't like if I'm traveling by myself to have to sit in the inside and somebody sits on the outside because I don't like crossing over people. I don't like people crossing over me either. But so the bottom line is, so I sit at one of the tables for two. I pick that seat. Now, when the next person who picked that seat can tell that somebody else was sitting across from them, they could have picked somewhere else. It happened to be an Asian man. And the moment he walked onto the train at Union Station, he looked at me. Now I feel like I was, because we did a shoot, so I was dressed pretty nicely. I had on some nice,
And should that matter?
cologne that my
That
wife had
should
bought
not
me.
matter.
Look, and I'm sitting there, Randy, and I'm chilling. And my man comes up. He could see the disdain from the start, right? And I said, open my phone. You know how you women do. You look at your phone to check your picture and make sure you're looking all right. I was like, do I got something hanging off my teeth? Do I, you know? And so he sits down, and I notice he's got this hateful look. And I say, hello, good afternoon, whatever. And he just nods, right? And he's looking around the whole time. And so the conductor comes and he goes, um, is there any way I could change seats? And I'm thinking, you know what? First of all, Mr. Man, it should be a privilege for you to sit in my vicinity.
Absolutely.
I was so hot. I said, you know what? You could have, I had to tell him, you could have looked on the app. You saw on the app that somebody was sitting here.
Don't let
Maybe
the New
you were
York
hoping
come
that it
out
was an
this shit.
Asian woman or another Asian man. But he got up, it was like, how dare you type thing. I was fit to be tied
Right.
that he didn't want to sit across from me. This black man, I felt like on that particular day, I was a good looking black man too. So it's like, I get David Youngblood said exactly, I guess he exactly what he wrote in, exactly what I had in mind. He says, I'm comforted by knowing all the civil rights we enjoy in this country are hard won by African Americans, right? And his other part is not what I'm talking about, but he says, and because others enjoy them makes me love the ancestors more. But I'm gonna go to the first part. The first part, the hard fought. So they hand Asians and others these bills. They hand them their victories,
Right.
and and for 500 whatever years, 16, 19, whatever, however you want to put it, 15, 19 in my book, um, we still fighting.
Yeah.
We got to fight for every little thing, every crumb. But others are handed. So if that sounds like it's racist, it's not intended to be. It's just fact. And
Right.
that's that. So
And it is,
but
and that again, that's why I was like, the foundation of it is racial. But again, like you said, everything, and I don't know why. It's so crazy. So many people. I have heard so many stories of why black people fight so hard and we get so little, and some of them are funny. Such as one of my friends said, they hated Jesus. We have to be from that direct line because
oh, listen, that's our favorite lines from our grandmothers, and oh, they was talking about me. They talked about Jesus Christ. That's their favorite line, right?
it is.
It's
But
just
but
but
listen, but listen.
black people are the only people who have 8 days of the week, Sunday through Saturday, and then someday.
Right,
Someday. We
right.
the only ones.
That's very true. So, like I said, Seattle taking the lead in this, that's cool and all. That's great. I'm glad. Um, but I think it needs to be a clean sweep. But when you have people like MTG, who are saying, "Hey, how about y'all go over there and we go over here?" I mean, it's just gonna be constant fighting, because I literally want to I kind of want to just sit all political parties down and just ask them, all of y'all are fighting for different things, but one thing that that has been remaining constant is the lack the lack of protection that you give black people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, people talk about affirmative action, and you think about what affirmative action did for Black people, Black companies, Black education, Black healthcare. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think that when you think about that, and I know you're going to segue into that White History Month, but when you think about things
Don't
like
be talking about my
how
segues.
in Texas these
What are you
doctors,
talking about my segues for? Bobby Henry, she's not supposed to be talking about my segues until I segue.
I
Bobby says,
mean,
off our backs, others are freed, and we are still looked at as chattel. And she's looking at me like chattel, Bobby.
I mean, honestly, it is what it is. When you think about it, you're like, how many people experience doctors literally, and this has happened in Texas,
Oh, yeah.
where these string of doctors are like, yeah, another one died, or hey, I lost two Black people today. Like, you're joking about life, people dying, but you're
Yep.
supposed to be pro-life, but you're joking about people dying. It makes sense. It doesn't.
Well,
We're meeting logic with irrational behavior, and they will never meet. We're trying to
well,
put logic with irrational behavior.
and along those lines, we talk about doctors and stuff. We've talked about it on this program many a times. Why is it that Black women can't go in and have a normal childbirth? It's just everything that comes natural, that should come natural, is a struggle.
Right.
It's a struggle. So, Austin Cooper says, "Did I clap when the man walked away?" Yeah, I tell you the type of clapping I really wanted to do. But
Right.
anyway,
No, I really want to know, like, how did that end? Because I
it
did.
ended by him, the conductor telling him to go on the app and pick another seat, and that's what he did. And I told him, "Good riddance." And I wish I could have. That was the one moment. I don't know if he was Chinese or Taiwanese or what, but whatever he was, I wished I could speak his language because I wanted to just, I wanted, I wanted to cut him down in his own language.
Right. I said, I normally can hear your accent, Stacey, but I can only imagine how the New York came out, how Queens came out of you.
Queens in the house, Jamaica, South Side.
Queens get the money.
That's right. That's right. Kings from Queens. From Queens comes kings.
Right.
We raising hell like a.
I
Oh,
love
we're
it.
going to the Run DMC song now. Okay, so those my boys. Run DMC. Those my
Right.
boys. Um, White History Month should definitely include a discussion of how the early waves of white settlers in America removed the Native Americans from their land. Toure, we had Toure on the program last year. Toure is a nationally acclaimed journalist, but he really put something together there to think about as we come to a close on Black History Month. He said, "Imagine a White History Month." He says, "This is not a nice story." He said there was a mass murder. There were treaties that white Americans violated. There were blankets with smallpox in them given to American Indian civilians, which is like biological warfare and domestic terrorism, all wrapped in one. He goes on. Toure came. You know, I wasn't expecting the column like this from anybody, but
Right.
Toure, right? But it's not. It's really not. What's up, Monique Daniels? I always got to call out Monique Daniels. It's something about Monique Daniels that I call out. Um, She's my sister. White Americans wrote and designed an amazing democracy that said all men are created equal, which is brilliant, he says, and inspiring, except when you remember that they did not actually believe that.
Right.
Slavery would be a big part of White History Month. Why? He says, well, who were the slave traffickers? Who were the slave owners? Who were the slave traders? Who benefited from slavery? He says, I think some of the white people in the audience are looking for the exits by this point because they thought the horrors of Black history would be left out of White History Month. But no, slavery is white history too.
Yep.
It's oh, Misha's watching. What's up, Misha?
Hey, Misha Green. Mimi.
My wife is watching. She says, I was just talking about being judged by medical professionals as having anxiety anytime I tell them I have a health issue. And that is so true. We can't even get appointments around here.
Mrs. Brown hit it straight on the head. Absolutely.
But so this would be a part of white history too, right?
No,
How the
yes,
medical stuff.
yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't think I think, honestly, well, let's get down to the nitty gritty of it, Stacey. The whole argument for why isn't there a White History Month is it's the parties, it's the day parties, it's
White
the
history is every
fun.
month.
Right, but the reason why every month, every February, every year, this trends, where's White History Month? Why we don't have? Because they're looking at the fun. If you think about it, um, others is what I like to say. People who are not black people, they have an obsession, a love hate with black culture. They want to look black. They
I'm
want to
so,
talk black. They want to behave black. They want to do black music. They want to have black clothes. They want to have black style. But they don't want to. They don't want to be black, right? But
yep.
when it comes to white, and so they don't think in their mind what exactly. When it comes to White History Month, they're thinking in their mind, "Hey, we want the day parties. We want the feeling of pride that they get when they talk about their inventions and things of that sort." Toure says something, and it's so funny that I love that he made other journalists write,
Hmm.
because when he did his, he made other people write about his piece, and that's how you know your piece is powerful.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
said the genius of it is that it works just as white privilege does. You need to do nothing to activate it. The advantage comes automatically, just like White History Month happens automatically. And what he meant by that, exactly, you when you start thinking of things, and again, I hate to say this, but in history they have lied. So the White History Month won't look factual like that. It won't look
Hmm.
like, hey, we stole things from your
Right.
culture. We stole your people. We abused, and you think Dr. Mengele was horrible if you know anything about the Holocaust, and Dr. Mengele, and the
Hmm.
um, the doctor that did experiments on children, on Jewish children, and etc. You think he was horrible. You should read up on some of the things, that the experiments that were
I
done
say it,
on
Denisha.
children, that enslaved children.
I say it all the time when the Holocaust was an absolute atrocious. It was, for somebody to scheme that up just shows you just how demonic they really were. It was one of the most horrible things in human history. However, slavery, and what African slavery, to be specific, what they did, and the profound repercussions from that continue to this day. Um, it is the worst thing. You know, we don't even know.
Greer is wrong for these photos.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you who else is wrong. Power 96. I'm not dealing with Power 96. he he always coming up with something. He goes, white history must include raisins in their potato salad. I'm just
What?
not. We just not doing that this morning, Power. And she showed Elvis, and Elvis was the peanut butter banana sandwich and stuff like that, which, whoa. um I'm just not doing it, Power
But
96.
I asked that too. For one of my What a Week with Black Twitter, I asked what would white history look like. I really wanted people to tell me in their words what white history would look like, but I think no one can answer that question because
That's a
they're
travesty right there.
right. And it's so much white history. It's every month is white history. That's
Yeah.
why they're trying to, and it's so crazy because with critical race theory, they're trying to remove things so that white history will look better, but then they're creating more horrible white history.
What?
Even I hate to say this, but even in and I was on the phone. People would not believe me if I was not on the phone with someone. But even in Puerto Rico, when we had the midwinter conference for Black Press, there was
And this chick,
a Madonna.
what in the world? I'm sorry to cut you off, totally, Randy, but this chick, you talk about cultural appropriation or misappropriation.
Oh
What is her deal? Is it just about trying to stay relevant, or is she just trying to, at this stage in her old age, trying to mock black people? What I mean, but she looks atrocious. Look. She looks like she looks like Lil Kim on crack.
no, don't even do Lil
I
Kim
mean,
like that
good
because
lord.
She looks like some. The Black Twitter said that she looks like Jigsaw.
That too. It's like a combination. Jigsaw, Latoya Jackson. I mean, come on.
You know, Madonna. It's so funny because Madonna has she has reinvented herself so many times, but this again, right? Again, this is just shows that
Uh-oh.
Black
See, he
culture.
wants to weigh in. Let him weigh in. That's your son? She how you go on mute to chastise your son in the middle of a program?
You know what?
You put him on the show. Don't be doing that to him. He has every right to come on the show.
That look, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be like Madonna and make him walk on my back. Don't she make her kids do that? Massage her feet. Those kids she
Yeah,
adopted,
she
the
got
black
black kids, the kids that she bought.
right?
It's just
I'm telling him, hey, Ox, you have it really good. Okay, you don't have to walk on mommy's back or massage her feet.
he
That
has something to
woman
say
is
about white history. We wanted to hear it. It's as simple as that.
right.
But
Poor
and
Madonna.
Power 96 says white history will not include any rhythm.
But you know, Madonna didn't she sell out? She's going on tour, right? And didn't her tour sell out already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
I
are you
mean,
telling
again,
us?
you're gonna always have people, like I said, you know, cancel culture is very finicky. People don't think it is.
Well, right, it is. Because you totally Randy go on Twitter or wherever or this program and do something crazy, you cancel. Let me do. But Madonna can't get canceled. And I mean, this chick, I don't even know what to say about her anymore. She was dating at one point this like 18-year-old black dude, right? I don't know if he's 18. He's somewhere in that vicinity. Then she was dating some 20-year-old black girl.
Black girl.
Black girl. What is she doing?
I mean, you know, she being Madonna. When you amass that amount of fame, you
But what does that have
feel
to do with black people? Why she up and all these little black kids she bought?
we run the culture. I mean, it just is what it is. You
Do
know,
you
we run the
remember?
culture. People get upset about that. They hate to say that. No, you guys don't. You don't run the culture. Yes, we
Well,
do.
hey, Randy, do you remember a few years ago Madonna used the N-word to describe one of her kids?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Still can't get canceled. She
still
has,
can't
but
get.
she. When you think about the icons, right, in history, Madonna is up there. She's up there. It's Michael Jackson. It's Prince. It's Whitney Houston. It's Madonna. You know, she's up there. No list can erase what she's done. You know, but again,
She's a culture vulture. Joni King says.
hey, and amassed amount of money, a lot of money from that too. So
Well, Toure goes on to write white Americans ran. Oh gosh, look at this. This is the one she called a little N-word, huh?
that's a better photo of her though.
He looks like Christina Applegate in that picture.
Good call, Stacy.
Hey, I
I
try.
agree.
I try. But Toure goes on to write white Americans ran slavery for hundreds of years. And because of slavery, America developed into the global economic power that it has been ever since. This was not simply because of the country having free labor, but also because of the value created by enslaving human bodies. The enslaved people themselves were a commodity. White people benefited immensely from slavery in ways that continue to this day. That said, they also did a good thing. After hundreds of years of this peculiar institution in a war that divided the nation, white people finally abolished slavery. Given how long it went on before they stopped it, they should not be expecting a thank you. Toure really hit it out the park with this
He
column.
did.
He really did. People can check it out at the Grio. We don't have a problem with lifting up the work over there. They shouldn't have a problem lifting up our work. We
If
we
you
in this
think there
war
should be a
together.
White History Month, you really have to go read that piece.
Yeah, you should. I tip my
Because
hat
some
to.
of us do, Stacey. I'm playing devil's advocate. Some of us, some black people do feel like, oh, there should be a White History Month where white history gets to celebrate themselves. But how do they not get to celebrate themselves every single day?
Yeah,
That's
well,
what. That's what, in essence, that's what he's saying. How he ended, how he landed on that piece was it's automatic.
Yeah.
White History Month is every single day. It's automatic. You wake up with privilege. You wake up not, you know what I mean? You wake up not uh, what you the work you've been doing when you spoke to Lamumba, when you spoke to Thompson, you know, and they say things when you hear people say things like white people, the reason why there's such a cult behind the political powers is because the selling point is you are better than black people.
Wow.
That
Big
is the
John is
selling
watching.
point.
My man, Jonathan Dolphin. He says Wells Fargo gave out loans to white people to buy slaves. The tentacle stretch is all these hundreds of years later. You know, you could talk about the fact that yeah, they abolished slavery, and you remember. Let's be real about it, right? Lincoln needed to free the slaves. Why? Because the South was winning the war. They needed folks. They needed folks, all bodies. They needed all hands on deck. He didn't free them out of the goodness of his heart. He didn't
And
free them
who's gonna
because
fight?
right, right. And he did it to hold the Union together. That's the only reason. And then what we have what was it? Juneteenth. Why? Many of them didn't even know they were free. So folks in your jurisdiction, Randy, in Texas, it
Right?
took a year. Was it a year or so?
Two. I think it
Two
was
years.
two. It was two.
Um. So and nobody was in a rush to tell them. And then by that point too, that's the other thing that's lost on all this. 2 years, Joni King. You're right. John says 2 years. The other
But people are behaving. Can we? People are behaving like everything is all good now. Hey, you guys are free now. I
right.
just told you that we had a really big show. Shout out to my people at Four Times Real Talk Junkies, Jeffrey L. Boney. We just had a show last year that looked into deed restrictions, reading the deeds,
Oh,
and
yes.
how much racist ideologies and language was inside of that. The redlining that happens here. You know, you feel people feel like, oh, slavery is gone. Now you guys are okay. No, we're not. Not.
If you left us alone, we'd be okay. If you
and,
didn't make these laws that prevented us from breathing,
right, you
darn
can't
near
even, and
prevents
you
us
can't
from
even.
breathing.
You know, we tried to do that. We created Black Wall Street in
Right.
Tulsa,
What did
Oklahoma,
they do?
right? And what happened? What happened when you said you pushed us out? You put us with the Native Americans. That's why I always tell Black people
Ooh,
slow
let me
down
stop.
on Black
Wait,
people and
Randy,
not
keep
mix with
that
Native
thought.
Americans.
Keep that thought before I lose this thought. You mentioned the Tulsa Race Massacre. It's important people to know this. Um, this coming Monday at the Ghana Embassy in Washington D.C. Viola Fletcher, they call her Mother Fletcher. She's 108 years old, and her brother, they call him Uncle Red. Um, he's 102, I believe, 101. They are getting Ghana citizenship. They are the only two survivors of the Tulsa race massacre. Just thought I'd throw that in, but go ahead,
Wow.
continue your thought.
No, absolutely. You know, when like I said, thinking about the Tulsa, Oklahoma, they pushed us there. Okay, they pushed us there. They said, hey, this is what. Don't come over here with us. Y'all go over there and build. And so we did. We said, okay, we built it up. You know, we're very inclusive. We're a very inclusive people. You know, and so when we built it up, what happened? You know, Tulsa burned. You know, and we can't even build our own. So
Yep.
it's so funny, you know, that Greer brought up MTG. She said, did you see what she said about Tyree Nichols? I didn't. Did you, Stacy?
No, but we all know she's talking about a national divorce, and listen, all that goes to your point too, because again, going back to Toure, what did he write? He says after slavery, white people found new legal ways to enslave black people, and they committed a lot of acts of domestic terrorism to keep black people in place. He says here we talk about the rise of the American prison system, lynching, sundown towns, the 1921 Tulsa race massacre, Emmett Till. Because I know we talk about a lot of these things during Black History Month, but again, these stories are also part of White History Month.
Absolutely.
I mean, he breaks it down, and then this point, there are some good white people out there. Don't press me for names right now, but I'm sure they exist. We also have to do World War One and World War Two, which looks pretty great for white people, and the Vietnam, which does not. White history can be bleak if you leave in all the parts that include how they treated black people. And you saw the picture earlier of Elvis. He says Elvis Presley stole his style from black people, like Little Richard and Sister Rosetta Tharpe. So that's no fun. Babe Ruth may be the best baseball player ever, except he never had to face black players. Also, he may have actually been black. Shirley Temple was cute, but her signature tap dance number that was done alongside an older black man, Bill Bojangles Robinson, is super cringy nowadays. This is hard. There's a good breakdown. And somebody pointed out, I think it was Power 96, that in the some places in the South, it's April is basically White History Month. It's Confederacy Month that they observe. So
We don't see that. I don't see that in Houston, but I I can only imagine. I mean, there are some people, unfortunately, there are some people who believed in slavery who still believes in slavery.
oh yeah, look, what do you think Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about? What do you think Donald Trump said that if he's reelected, that he will have mass executions? He said firing squad. Now, who's going to be on the under end of the firing squad? Who's going to be on the other end of the noose?
And
Right?
that's why it's so insane for people of color who are not black to be racist or feud with black people. Y'all are also on the other end. Y'all are not holding the gun. Y'all are also y'all standing right with us when it comes to that firing
And
squad.
it's insane, Randy, for the way some of us behave when we make it, when we get big, as they say, when we become superstars and billionaires or whatever, and we turn our nose up at our people. It's just, to me, it's insane. And I'm not talking about your boy. I'm not talking
You
about
know
your
what?
boy.
I was waiting.
I'm not talking about your boy. So you could take a deep breath. She tried to kill me in San Juan because I mentioned a certain someone who
Absolutely. I'm
I'm
gonna
not a
always
fan
stand up on
of.
him.
I'm not a fan of. I don't
I,
hate on him, but I'm not a fan.
you need to rethink that. You need to
She said I need
rethink.
to rethink it.
He's
Well,
done a lot. He has
I
done
tell
a
you.
lot for the culture.
Well,
Okay.
you know what? He has. He has. And I said that. He certainly has. And he continues to do
Greer said,
things.
"Say his name. What's his name?"
Oh Lord, his name. Let's say his name. We're not talking about Breonna Taylor here. Say her name.
No, we're gonna say his
Jay
name.
Z. We're talking about
Call him
Jay.
homeboy Hefe.
Oh my gosh, I am not a fan of Jay Z, but
we
yet I can readily admit, like Randy says, and I told Randy, I appreciate the fact that he has done some things. Now the Super Bowl thing, the NFL thing is still highly questionable. But the other stuff, what he's done with helping with the prison stuff and going back to the projects. John says Jay Z needs a haircut, but
no, no, that and he doesn't need a haircut. He lets his hair grow as it is. He
but the
embraces the
NFL
culture.
stuff is still very suspect, very suspect. I know he's a businessman, but that's suspect. And see, I heard your son say he does. I heard your son say he does. That's why he needs to be on the
This
program.
is
Don't be
this is a
shushing him.
Jay Z house over here. Okay, listen, there's a Jay Z. How do you have a bar for every aspect of life? There's a Jay Z bar for everything. A Jay Z
Listen,
line for
I'm not
everything.
questioning his talent. I'm not. I'm just not a fan, and
Come
I
on.
I'm just
What does
thinking.
Jay Z owe black people? Zilch, nada, nothing. He doesn't owe them. He doesn't owe us anything, but he still gives. Stacy.
You know what? Here's the thing. When was the last time Jay-Z sat with an authentically black journalist? When was the last time he sat down
He
and
sits
talked?
with Elliot Wilson all the
When
time.
he took out all these, he spent millions taking out these. It's just a few years ago, millions of dollars taking out these full page ads in white media, the New York Times. And you know how much it costs for a full page ad in the New York Times, Washington Post, and stuff like that. We're talking six figures, right? Or
Right,
close to it. And he
right.
took out a lot of them. Where was the black press?
It was strategic, though. You have to.
I don't want to hear about strategic. Strategic is this. We say this all the time, and we said it to Benny Thompson, and Benny Thompson acknowledges um, black politicians cannot win elections unless they work with the black press, advertise with the black press, talk to the black press. This billionaire who black people spending all this money on, he's already a billionaire, and y'all making minimum wage, spending all your money on him. And he went to white media, spent all this money. Strategic? No. Strategic is let me go to Brooklyn. Let me go to the Amsterdam News in New York, the famous Amsterdam News. Let me go to the New Pittsburgh Courier, one of the oldest black papers in the country. Let me go to the Afro-American, the Washington Informer. That's not strategic,
Let
spending
me
it
ask
with
you
the
a
white
question.
media.
When was the last time? Do you know when was the last time that full page ad, that type of ad, flowed through mainstream media like that?
Listen, so many do it. Randy, many people go to the mainstream media with
But
their
they're not
ads.
as impactful as Jay Z. Jay Z did that for a
Oh,
reason.
I don't get a reason. Here's the thing. You gave all this money to white. We would have had. Listen, if we got 238 newspapers in the NMPA, all black owned.
Okay,
What?
so devil's advocate. Are we saying, is it about the money or is it about the message? Is it
Listen,
about the money is it about the money or is it about the message and the
I
reach?
can't pay my mortgage on a message, right?
You said what?
My publisher can't pay me on a message. My
No.
publisher could use a couple of
So
dollars too.
so it's about the money. So you want him to donate the money to the black press?
I'm not saying donate because the return. Look, when Emmett Till's mom needed things to be told, where did she go? She went to the black press. When Martin Luther King wrote his letters from the Birmingham jail, where did he go? The black press. They could
True.
have easily said, I want to get this message out, and gave it to the New York Times or the AP.
Listen, we can go back and forth all day long about Jay because we can break down his strategy and everything. We can decode his
I'm
strategy and
not saying he
everything.
owes us anything. I'm not listen. I'm not saying, you're right. I'm not saying he owes us anything, but I'm saying it's really telling about a person, where they coming from in their heart, what they do. Out of the mouth abundance, the heart speaks. Out of the heart's abundance, the mouth speaks.
Mm,
Right?
yep.
And so Jay-Z has spoken. Jay-Z went and cut a deal with the devil, the NFL. Jay-Z went and gave and continues to support white media. Where is the support for black media? He don't owe us, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And people don't like it because they love Jay-Z. It's no knock against Jay-Z.
I don't think he's not. I don't think
He
he's
is who
not
he
supporting
is.
the black press. I think that Jay Z is very strategic. I do feel like some of it is his arrogance on not
I
arrogance.
made it, and I'm not gonna let you
No,
make it but so far. That's the
no,
mentality.
no. It's more so I'm gonna do it my way. That's what I mean by
He
his
did it
arrogance.
his way. He's made it.
But
Now
he
bring
he made
somebody
it. But
up.
like he's made it, and he also have seen, and so that's a problem too. Then I do feel like that in our culture we have a problem unifying. That's why. That's
But
why.
doesn't it start at the top? And then look, and he ain't the only one. I'm glad David brings this up. Dr. Dre, he gave $40 million to a white institution, USC. Y'all can talk. Look, now I'm gonna get y'all mad. Bill Cosby gave $200+ million to all black institutions, but we hate Bill Cosby. Dr. Dre gave $40 million to a white institution, but we love Dr. Dre.
So two things don't resonate, Stacey. It's not that you can't say, "Oh, we hate Bill Cosby because
No,
we hate Bill
it's not
Cosby
because of that. It's not. We hate Bill Cosby because of, really, it's not about. Let me tell you something. Black people hate Bill Cosby not because of the allegations, right? They hate Bill Cosby because of the pound cake speech. That's why they hate Bill Cosby. Let's break that down. What it is. Black people could care less because most of those alleged victims were white. They could care less. They could care less. It's all about the pound cake speech. Before the pound cake speech, Bill Cosby, even long after the Cosby Show, was still America's dad. He was about to buy NBC. Black people was like, yes, Bill Cosby's going to buy NBC. Then he made the mistake of going and speaking out about us wearing our pants below our butts and stuff like that, and telling black women stop messing with these drug dealing guys who are going to leave you with babies and nothing else. But all that is beside the point. The bottom line is, if it wasn't for the black press, there would be no Jay-Z. If it wasn't for the black press, there would be no Dr. Dre.
You made Jay, make another Jay. Again, it's
we keep doing it.
You made Jay, make another Jay.
Them out. And
make
what
another
happens?
Jay.
They start off, Randy. They start off with us, and the moment they get the white attention and the white money, we can't even get a phone call back.
Do they start off with us, or do we start off with them?
Yes.
Do they start off with us, or do we start off with them?
No,
See, Jay was gonna always be Jay.
Randy, they come to us. Look. Michael Jackson used to talk about that. How it was always, and the proof is in the pudding. You go Ebony and Jet. He was right on. We had Cynthia Horner on a year or so ago. Right on. That was his thing back when he was coming up.
I'm gonna let you get this off. I'm gonna let you get this off. But absolutely no. Absolutely no. And you brought up the wrong. I'm with Greer. You brought up the wrong person because
no, Randy. I know you love Jay-Z, and I respect Jay-Z's talent. He has undeniable talent. He has an undeniable business eye. Perhaps the best of any of those guys out there, right? Certainly better than Diddy. Certainly better, and Diddy's another one. Don't get me started on him. What was that commercial? Oh my gosh. Do you even still know what that commercial was about?
You can't. That commercial was about him flexing a little bit. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And shout out to Greer. Jay does as much as Oprah. You can't.
What does Oprah do?
We can't really tell. And look, Bobby Henry, I hope you're still watching. I'm gonna mention his segue again. You can't really tell people how to support the people that they love. You can't really tell people what to do with their money, but they do a lot. Agreed. Oprah does a lot for the Black community, and so does Jay. Opening doors, creating jobs. We don't talk about all of that. It's not just about
flag on the play. They took cameras. They busted up Jay-Z and Beyonce's whole thing with that. What's that company they have? They got this foreign labor paying them less than minimum wage. No black folks. We deal with we have reached out on a number of occasions. This program to Jay-Z. We get Jana Fleischman or whatever her name is all the time, and Jana told me, look, she got his schedule to even down to bathroom time. Ain't nobody having that much control over my schedule, number one. But look, we get nothing. Absolutely.
They tell you why?
Not even something as simple as this. Not even to come on the show. Writing good stuff like what Rock Nation did for Parchment Prison. I asked for a statement. I couldn't even get a written statement. He could have had a minion just write something and send it over. A no comment. but then I pick up the USA Today, and he's quoted throughout. It's
but
give
is it
me a
from him?
break.
But is it
I'm
from
going
him?
back to what Claudette. Okay, so Claudette Perry, who would know better as much as anybody. Black billionaires need to bring their messages through the black press and quote force white media to come to the black press for information. Black billionaires should help the black newspapers on which they were raised. White people will never respect us if we don't respect ourselves. And to me, case closed. Now I know, Randy, and Greer. Look, Greer mentions it. We have and we mentioned this in some ways to Congressman Benny Thompson. There are 58 members of the CBC now. We have that same issue with many black members of Congress.
And I agree. I agree. I agree to some. I agree to some. Jay Z doesn't really do interviews. He's very, very, very specific. That's why I said he's quoted. Maybe he said it, but he didn't say it to USA Today. Maybe they're quoting him because that's something he
He'll
said.
sit down with Charlemagne, who works for
Right, but
white media.
right.
He'll sit down with somebody black from the AP who works for white media.
Okay, but again, when you think about what Jay Z does, Jay Z is very strategic. And there's something I have.
Again with the
So hold
strategic,
on, hold on. I
Randy.
gotta say this. I
I
have
know.
to
Go
say
ahead.
this. I have to say this. I love. I'm here for the black press. I love the black press.
I know.
I am working with the black press. I am a part of the black press. However, sometimes our stuff isn't right. And a lot of times our black
And
billionaires.
sometimes the white stuff ain't right either, right? Whose ice is colder? That's all that comes down to. Thinking who's somebody's ice is colder.
If it aligns with his strategy, it's not personal. If it align, if he have the number, like when you think about it, right, you're gonna have to approach Jay Z from a strategic standpoint, not on an emotional. You should
Do you
talk to the
think?
black press
Do you
because we
think
are the
Dr.
black
Ben
press.
Chavis and Claudette Perry and the black press approach Jay Z on an emotional level? It's all about strategy. It's all about strategy, and it's trying to.
I agree. Greer
He
say
still
we shouldn't have to beg.
he
I ain't
still
too
has
proud to beg for that
aspirations.
interview.
The man, it's not like he's a billionaire and going off into the sunset. He still has aspirations, and perhaps the black press can help him with those aspirations. He wants to win that casino license in New York, for one example, and he's up against some powerhouses, right? The New York Mets owner, the
Right,
hedge fund
right,
multi-billionaire Steve Cohen, worth $17 billion. He's up against him, right? He's up against one of Trump's people who's trying to get that license. He's up against some powerful people with some powerful friends.
right.
And so perhaps a little pressure from the black press, perhaps it could swing the thing in his direction. He still has aspirations.
That's a good take. I can't argue with that take.
Listen, Randy, I listen, don't let nobody change your thoughts on Jay-Z because nobody's gonna change mine.
Right.
So we gonna go down a dark tunnel right now with R. Kelly. R. Kelly, he is going to face a judge today, and he will learn his fate. He will learn that probably learn that he might as well get comfortable. He's never getting out of prison. The judge is going to sentence him. The prosecutors are asking for a term of life, basically. He's already serving 30 years for his 2021 racketeering and sex trafficking convictions in New York. Now, the central question for the judge, Harry Weber, is whether to order that Kelly serve a Chicago sentence simultaneously with the New York sentence, or that he starts serving his Chicago sentence only after he completes the New York term. So it's consecutive or concurrent. And it is more than likely that it's going to be consecutively, which means that he's facing at least 60 years in prison, which means he's facing life.
As he should.
And I'm gonna tell you my only problem with this, and I'm no R. Kelly fan. I'm not supporting him. He's a creep. He apparently a convicted child molester. My only problem with this is that American justice once again failed. The only reason why he's in prison right now is because of a documentary. That's it. He got away with it for so long. Back in the 2000s and the early 2000s, he was acquitted. He was acquitted of these same charges. So let's be real. It's pretty much double jeopardy. But and he's a black man, so he can do it. He can do double jeopardy, right?
I'm gonna completely disagree with you.
He's only in because of a documentary.
And you know
Because the
how
documentary actually gave. Let me clarify that. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. He's in because the documentary. It took a documentary to expose and put the pressure on the Department of Justice, not Department of Justice, but American Justice. Without that documentary, R. Kelly would still be singing "He Could Fly Somewhere." He believes he can fly somewhere.
Possibly, you're possibly right. But however they achieved justice, however they achieved it. You know, R. Kelly just came out with K. Relly is what I call him. R. Kelly just came out with another album.
No, that turned out to be false.
That
Somebody
wasn't that was his songs.
No, he didn't do it. The people said that he recorded a new album in prison. They shut that down. The prison, his lawyers, Jennifer Bonjean said that it was absolutely a fraud.
Wait a minute, hold on. You're telling me that the music that was playing, that R. Kelly is saying he didn't put this out.
That his lawyers and the judge, not the judge, the jailer said that it was just not true.
So that I Admitted song, where did that come from?
Listen, you know, we in the age
of I heard it. Because we heard it.
Yeah, we all heard it.
Right.
But I'm telling you, the prison and his attorney, the prison officials and his attorneys flat out deny that he was even in a position to record anything while he's been in prison.
Let me say something to you. I want you to bring real close. Let me say something to you. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But to me, it sounds like, hey, you know, you have a sentencing coming up. Maybe it wasn't the best idea for you to put out any music, especially you saying I admit it and then you didn't admit to anything. You know, R. Kelly, again, when you amass such amount of fame and you are very talented, because he is very talented, you sometimes become very delusional. You have delusions of grandeur, that you're bigger than your situation, that you're bigger than whatever. And I personally think that he did put that out. Be that if he recorded it in prison, before he went to prison or not, he put that song out. I admit it. And someone was like, that's a dumb thing to do. Let's draw this back. In your arrogance, R. Kelly is very arrogant. I don't care how they achieve justice. He belongs under the jail.
So let me ask you this. And I listen, Randy, we definitely agree there.
That's none of my business. I don't care how long the judge give him. I don't care about double jeopardy. You abuse kids, you belong under the jail.
The only reason I care about double jeopardy is because, again, the same thing I said again about Bill Cosby. If folks was at that trial, whether you believe he did it or not, the way justice was carried out, the way the prosecutor and the judge acted in concert with each other, it should have made your stomach turn, specifically as an African American. I just think that we have to be careful. Yeah, you know what he did, he deserves to be in prison, but we have to be careful when we start saying, well, so what? Because
no.
if it's our brother, our sister, our child, our niece, our nephew, our grandparent, we are going to be very much incensed.
So, question for you. The reason why I'm saying I don't care about double jeopardy is not that I don't care about how the law is carried out, how justice is carried out. What I'm saying by that is when he was acquitted of that in the early 2000s, there weren't cases that were brought up of stuff that he was still doing, right? Didn't he do something after that? Like
No,
that wasn't
this
those
was
cases wasn't completely.
these no, look at it again, Randy. These were really about that 2005 case. This was about that 2005 case. Now, the was he doing other stuff? They never brought into evidence that he was. The only evidence they brought in was back then, and the main evidence was the documentary "Surviving R. Kelly." That was the primary. And at that point, and they talk about jury nullification and jurors having to not know about a case. You They should have tried this thing in Vietnam or somewhere, because there's not a juror. No, let me explain. The court says that they don't put jurors on there who know details about a case. There's no one in America who didn't know details about R. Kelly's situation. That document, if you didn't watch it, you read about it. If you didn't read about it, it was on the news.
And there's another one, right? Isn't there supposed to be a
It was
last
two.
installment?
It was two.
No, it was two. But
Right.
there's
It was no way R. Kelly could get a fair trial. It was no way. Now it was no way. It was impossible. I'm not. Listen, you're not understanding, Randy. I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm not saying he's. I think he's 100% guilty. But what I'm saying is, we have to be careful as Black people when we don't care about fair trials. When we don't, we just
no,
talked
I
about
care about fair trials, but there's another installment. There's one more installment. It's not just two pieces. There's another installment.
No, I understand that.
Right.
I understand that.
So again, that's why I'm saying, like, I care about a fair trial when it comes to anybody, right? You have to be fair in your trial. But this man is a notorious.
He is, but notice you said
pedophile.
but. Notice you said but. So we're accepting, when we say but, we're accepting that this American justice system can do whatever it is to get a Black man, because they're not doing this to white folks. He is a monster. He's a monster.
Okay, so there are, so when you say they're not doing it to white folks, we have to say
they're not breaking the law to get white folks. They're not breaking that. You don't see, like I said, I sat through every second of the 2 Cosby trials, and I went to that trial. Dr. Chavis sent me to cover that trial, both those trials, thinking, like everybody else, that this case, and remember, the Cosby trial was only about one woman. Let's clarify that, right? And I went there, and just like everybody else, oh, this is a slam dunk. They're gonna, he's done. He's cooked. He did it. And everything in that, the way they picked the jury. Just a one quick example on the first jury, and I'll give you one quick example on the second jury. The first jury, there was a Black woman cop in Allegheny County, because the first jury is from Allegheny County, and the prosecutor didn't want no Black jurors. And so they struck her, they said, because she falsified a time card. Turns out, and they said this during that time, Cosby's attorney said, no, this is not correct. They accused her of falsifying a time card, the Allegheny police, this cop. She sued, won the case, was reinstated with all this back pay, and the judge totally exonerated her, because she went all the way. She's like, I didn't do that. She was 100, and she didn't do that. And they brought it to the attention of this racist judge who presided over the Cosby case, very racist judge. And he said, no, she can't be on the jury. Second case, the jury selection, another example. And there was so many examples, even in the trial itself. But the second example, juror, when they picking, they call it the voir dire process, voir dire, whatever, however you pronounce it. So this is when they select the jury. The guy comes, they pick him. The defense, they didn't object. They pick him, and he makes the right turn, goes back, to get his paperwork and everything. And the other potential jurors are in this room, and he goes in. He goes, we can all go home now. He's guilty. This is during jury selection. Cosby's team says, no, you got to kick him off the jury. They got witnesses to say this guy said this. The judge says, no, we're keeping him.
Right. And I'm with you. I hear you, Stacey, and I'm with Greer. I hear you. I get your point. But using that logic with Cosby and R.
That's
Kelly
because
is
they're
not the
tainted. Y'all say
it's
don't use them as examples because these two are tainted individuals. And all I'm saying is,
no. Not that they're tainted. Not that they're tainted. What I'm saying is this. We understand that the justice system is not justice, right? We understand that there are issues. But I want to ask you a question. I'm about to bring it home. All right, I'm about to bring it home like a time to kill. Samuel L. Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. Let me ask you a question. Because he didn't get a fair trial, let's say they release R. Kelly. You have daughters. You want a person like R. Kelly released around your kids?
That question tells me you're not listening to what I'm saying.
No. I'm asking. No. The reason why
I
I'm
did not
asking is
say
because
R. Kelly should be free. I'm saying that we have to
if he was
hold.
acquitted,
I'm not saying he should have been acquitted. All I'm saying is yes, he needs to be held accountable. All I'm saying is we have to hold the justice system accountable. We can't just look the other way when they commit crimes themselves, crimes of not giving a black person a fair trial. We can't.
That's true, but Stacey, in the world that we live in, there's no what is the result of not having a fair trial?
Okay, well, then what does it say about our justice system then? Maybe we don't have the best, as they keep saying, the best justice system in the world.
We've been knowing that.
But we can't jump on, my argument is we can't jump on the bandwagon as African Americans. We can't just accept it. We can't just accept certain things.
I don't think we do.
No, we do, because nobody's talking about what we're talking about right now. And
because you know why they're not talking about it? Because regardless, he deserves to be under the jail.
I understand that.
But
two could be the same. Two could be the truth, right?
Two can be true. However, we don't stand back and allow the justice system to just be horrible. No, we don't.
We do.
What do you think we protest for?
Well, that's my point. We should be saying, yes, you got him. You got R. Kelly, and we're happy about that. But what we won't tolerate is how you got him. That man deserves.
I don't think people applied that. I don't think people applied that logic to R. Kelly. I think they do tell the justice system what we won't tolerate is how you get these guys. What we won't tolerate is the injustice. I think people do say that.
Listen,
they just don't attach it to R. Kelly.
I go back to, and y'all say Cosby's a monster. I go back to the Cosby trial. You had to have been there. I would not have believed it either if I wasn't there. The shenanigans. You had a judge whistling, and while the jury was deliberating, whistling Kill Bill outside the jury room. The judge. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay.
Should we accept that?
No.
That's it's not about, for me, I'm glad R. Kelly's locked up. I'm totally glad he's locked up. I just think that we have to pay attention. Maybe that's what I'm saying. We got to pay attention.
Because and I get what you're saying. You're saying it's not okay because if they can do that to somebody that's guilty, they'll do it to somebody that's innocent to fit their bit. But we understand that. But Stacey, we understand that. That's something that we know. We know that already. We know that the justice system is not right, right? But when the bloke broke. I can't talk today. The broke clock is right twice a day, and they got it right with R. Kelly. Now, how they got it, it is what it is. But they got it right with R. Kelly.
Well, the jury got it right. The jury got it right with R. Kelly, right?
I feel like the energy should not be put towards using R. Kelly as an example to fight the justice system because that's asinine. It's stop breaking the law. It's liar, liar. It's Jim Carrey's liar, liar. When he picked that phone up and literally a guy tells him, "Hey, I need you to be my lawyer because I'm suing the lady that I broke into her house because I fell and broke my leg. I'm suing her." and he says, "Stop breaking the law." You know, we can't put our energy towards lawbreakers and say, hey, the justice system wasn't a little right on this. Let's attack the justice system for that when they broke the law. The energy has to go to people who are not breaking the law, and it's countless of them in the justice system now that have not broken the law. It's countless of black men that are in jail right now that have not committed a crime. They're innocent.
Mhm.
You know, the energy should go there. The ones that are in jail right now for like an eighth of weed, when we know that the cannabis um, um, environment is exploding for others and making people millionaires and billionaires. But you have these young men locked up serving 25 years for weed. You know what I mean? The energy should go there. It should
I
not
agree.
go to these people who have broken the law in the most heinous way, which is dealing with kids.
Totally, Randy. You are totally right. And we will
Boom.
leave it with this. Two things, real quick. Power 96 says, I said this before. Every adult involved in the R. Kelly case, when he was committing these crimes, they should also be in prison, including those girls' parents. I don't disagree with that either. And I'll leave this with Claudette Perry. She says, Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson, Kanye West, R. Kelly, and many other black billionaires should have taught us by now. No matter how much money you have or how much you are loved by your people, they still perceive you as a black man, and they can and will bring you down if you cross them or if you commit R. Kelly type crimes, right?
No, Claudette actually quoted a Jay-Z line.
Oh
Jay-Z
Lord,
said,
here we go. All right,
still Nigga.
go ahead. Wrap us out. We gotta go, y'all. Give us a Jay-Z lyric.
He just said it. He said it doesn't matter. You still Nigga.
Thanks for
OJ, the
watching.
story of OJ.
Totally, Randy. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching. Let it be known. We'll see you tomorrow.